thinking, holy beep, LA, how did you get that cheese dick fake Chinese Fender amp to sound like that? If you're asking, did you put a Weber speaker in it and orange drops? Well, if you're thinking stuff like that, you've come to the right place, because I'm going to show you how I converted this circuit board cheese dick Chinese fake Fender into a hand wired point-to-point tone monster, in my opinion. For what it is, it's a little 10-watt amp now. If that sounds interesting, hang tough and pat little Jakey on the head and stay tuned.
Hey, what is it?
It's a giraffe.
Nah, it ain't no giraffe.
No, folks. It's a Fender Champion amplifier. It's not the old one, so simmer down, keep it in your pants. It's a reissue, and it's been pretty severely damaged. I got it for a pretty good price. So this is a modern reissue that looks like it got squashed here. The pilot assembly, the switch, the chicken head knob. So here's a rare opportunity for me. What I'm going to do, what I propose to do, is something that I saw Uncle Doug do, and I've been on the lookout for one of these ever since. And that is, I'm going to convert this to a point-to-point. And I'm going to be using vintage parts, and I'm going to even toying with the idea of putting a 6x9 Jensen in here. If it fits, maybe not, but that's what I'm thinking. So if that sounds interesting to you all, don't touch that dial. You can follow along at home with the bouncing ball. All right, so here it is with the back door off, and looks like there's, other than this damage up here and that, it looks pretty nice. We got the, and I'm thinking I might be able to sneak a 6x9 in diagonally, maybe. That would be fun. Put a diagonal 6x9 in there. Oh yeah. Let's just see. Let's pop the thing out of the chassis and see what it looks like. Is it just me, or is that a leaning Chinese leaning tube of Pisa? I'm not even going to test this tube. It's a Chinese firecracker. I'm just going to put it in a drawer or somewhere other than in this amplifier. This is interesting, however. This is a Joint Army-Navy Phillips vintage tube, it looks like. Oh, I'm gonna hang on to that. Oh yeah. Well, I can see the damage done here. Sorry for the hand in the way, but yeah, this is completely shot, and this not too much better. So I'm just completely ripping everything out. I'll probably sell this board as is on Reverb for 25 bucks or something. I don't know. And I'll sell this little board. That little board, someone might like that, because I guarantee these things are going to fail and someone's going to want this board. So this stuff's going on Reverb, because it's pretty much untouched. And then I'm going to keep the transformers, woohoo! And I'm going to put a fiberglass or turret board in here, or maybe point to point. I don't know yet. We'll see. All right, I got this thing. This is assembled, and yeah, now I'm putting together a parts list. And I'm going to get it together. Put that parts list together. Unfortunately, as it may be, at some point in the near future, I'm going to have to move from St. Louis to California. Not looking forward to it, and I'm not sure if this will be complete before I have to move. So anyways, wherever I go, it will come with me and it will get finished, even if I have to hair lip every last cow in Texas. You came to me from out of nowhere. On the front, I'm going to move things around. This is going to be a negative feedback switch on and off per Uncle Doug. Supposedly more clean headroom with the switch with the negative feedback and dirtier with it off. We'll see. And then here, this is going to be the pilot light. This was the pilot light. This is going to be the pilot light, and I'm going to use an on-off volume control switch here. Got this very cool vintage pilot light assy. Ooh, somebody dug that hole when you weren't looking. Okay. And then I thought, why not put the fuse there? How do you like my new pointer, by the way? It's Pernambuco wood. It's from a broken violin bow. Those break, you can't fix them. So why not turn them into nice chopsticks? Anyways, I got to get out my D-shaped drill. My Acme Uncle Doug endorsed D-shaped drill. Well, I couldn't find my D-shaped drill. It's never round when you need it, so I'm going to have to do this round-shaped drill and put a lock washer there. Alrighty. Well, that worked out well. I love the... This is why pack rats save stuff. You see that? That washer, it's not a washer, it's from a hard drive. It's probably made out of titanium or something. There's a little notch that was notched out. Fits right in there. As an extra spacer washer. Nice, huh? Let me flip it over. And there it is, right there. Beautiful, right? So now all the power supply stuff is, well, with the exception of that negative feedback, that's all the power supply stuff is in here. Okay, next. All right, well, belay that last little bit. I decided to ditch the negative feedback switch and make this my on and not so on switch. So I've started doing the power supply winding, and yeah, here's the black wire comes in. It's going to go to the fuse. Sorry, the black wire comes off of the AC cord, goes into the tip, comes out of the sleeve, goes into the tip, comes out of the sleeve, goes to the switch, and then to the transformer. And the white one just goes back to the transformers to return. So, and the other thing, some people are confused about what to do with these spade bits. And so I call a spade, here's what I do with them. I got no use for them, none. None. They just seem to lend themselves to poor connectivity. So bye-bye spade bits. There's one reason Fender uses them, or anybody uses them. That's to save on manpower. Bye-bye. And it just occurred to me, this amp was completely non-functional when I got it. And I had no way to really test these windings. So I'm going to hook this up to the Variac and see what kind of power I can get out of this 6 volt and high voltage windings here. So yeah, let's stay tuned for that. I'm calling spade a spade, and those are going in the landfill. Bye. All right, so now making sure no wires are touching. I've got it hooked up to my cool fluke meter, the high voltage, and plugged into my current limiter, and I'm going to turn the variac all the way down, and I'm going to look at my voltage, turning it up. 65 volts, 89, 100. I'm going to go up to the line. No glow from my bulb, that's good. So I'm going to go up to about 120. And I got like a nice 296. It's low voltage. Maybe around 307. So that's going to be good. Maybe I'll end up putting a 5V4 in here to kind of juice up the voltage a little bit, but we'll see. Now I'm going to measure the 6 volt. So that's good. Nice high voltage. Okay, here we go, checking the 6 volt. Looks good so far. No glows from the bulb, from the current limiter. And I'll go up to about 120. It looks like we got a nice 6.8 there. That's beautiful, unloaded. Okay, looks like we got our voltages we need. Awesomeness. All right, I took the time to install the tube sockets. Check out that bear trap. It's not a bear trap, it's more like a wolf trap. I don't know. Came off an old radio or signal generator or something. This is a nice new old stock preamp tube. Now I'm going to build the full wave rectifier needed. Well, me and those standoffs were having a standoff, so I went ahead and drilled them out. All right, there's my full wave rectifier. This should develop a nice B plus coming to this terminal, and your negative going to ground. I'm gonna fire that up now, make sure it's got something going on right. All right, so I got it plugged into my current limiter once again. Oh, I also just tacked in the 6 volt, which works. And I'm developing 269 B plus there. Yeah, so maybe a 5V4 is going to be nice in here, but we'll see. So far, so good. All right, so I got rid of that cheese dick output transformer from Fender. Happen to have this kicking around thanks to my buddy Bill, Odell amplifiers. And got the power supply moving along here. Got rid of that cheese dick circuit board, and I'm doing point to point, as you know. And yeah, we're moving along. For those of you following along with the schematic, this is what I'm doing. And so far, I've wired, well, I didn't do this wiring, of course. I did the opposite wiring. I can actually draw that in, but everybody knows what's going on here. Skipped this, of course, but here comes the B plus out of my solid state solid state rectifier, and I've laid out these. These are actually, I'm using quite a bit more. I'm doing 16 on all three at 500. So I've laid these down, and I'm ready to put these resistors in, and also wire my cool Mercury Magnetics red wire over here, right here. Alrighty, this is my filtration process. Let's hope there's no hum, because everything's in such close proximity. We'll see. Anyways, onward. Alright, steaming along here with my Fender Champion point-to-point build. Got the B plus going up here. I tested the voltages all the way up. They dropped down. It's over 400, about 408 by the time it gets to here. And I realized that this is a steel chassis, not an aluminum chassis, so I'm going to make some heavy-duty ground points here, and I also put in a little terminal strip here. This thing has been proving really nice, and I'm going to do some ground points here, preamp ground points here. All right, onward. Yeah, I know the power supply is pretty close to the volume pot. I'm going to shield it heavily and run the wire over here and hope that's going to be sufficient. Got those ground lugs on there nicely now. And yeah, hopefully this won't induce undue hum. If it does, maybe I can move this to this side. That's possible. Move it up out of the way a little bit. We'll see. Here's the situation so far. I've gotten the B plus going over here. I've got the chassis grounds. I've put the cathode, I believe it's a cathode. Yeah, pin, I'm sorry. I'm preoccupied with my dog right now. She's not doing well. Today's her last day. Anyways, I'm forging on here. I'm gonna be following Uncle Doug's great video to wire this. So far I've wired both shields to the chassis ground. And next I'm going to do the grid resistors here. So stay tuned. I was hunting around in my tube stash and I came across this beautiful new old stock pack for 19 cents. I've got several of these. I'm just going to open it up. What the heck? I measured them and they're dead on. So when I want shielded cable, I take this really thin black cloth covered wire, ground it at one end, wrap it around on the other, after making sure that the that lead on the unconnected side is clipped off within the insulation. So here's my signal path going to the grid. All right. Theoretically, I've got this wired correctly, high and low. All right. So Uncle Doug does a great little skit on this, which I followed faithfully, and you can plug in a jack and test it that way. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just plug it in and measure it with my ohm meter. Plugging into the high impedance, I see that it measures 1 meg. All right. And plugging into the low impedance, 150K, which is the 268Ks together. So it appears to be working correctly. Thanks, Doug. Uncle Doug, that is. Thank you, Uncle Doug. Nice job showing how that goes. continuing on my quest for tone. I'm into the wiring the volume control. Moving along here pretty good. I'm trying to mark the B plus with red. There is no try. There's either do or don't. And the grid stuff with Yaller. All right. And I've been going through some personal problems here. My dog passed away yesterday, so I've committed a cardinal sin here while building this, and that is that the color coding on the resistors is going every which way. I don't care. I hope future purveyors of my work will forgive me for not having all this stuff reading left to right. I'm left-handed anyway, so I can read everything either way. And write, too. Anyways, moving onward. I really like the black wire that I scavenged from that Gulbranson organ years ago. I must have scavenged 10 pounds of it. It does a beautiful job here grounding the inputs, the preamp. I'm pretty sure to avoid ground loops, you only ground it on one side, which is what I did here. I grounded it and then tightly wrapped it. And it's not grounded. I kind of pulled the wire out of the insulation, cut it, and then tucked it back in the insulation. So it should be good. Alrighty. Geez. It's getting close here. I'm going to go and work what I do now once I've got what I feel like is everything wired. Well, I got to wire the jack. Then I start working backwards from the tubes. So, well, not sort of backwards. I go to each tube and check it back through the circuit to make sure that everything is showing up the way it's supposed to. So yeah, I haven't done the cathodes on the 12AX. I don't believe. I'm going to go and double check all that. Like I said, there's wires. Once I go back and double check all the tube wiring, then I'm going to go on wire this up and put the virtual center tap over here for the filament and the filament wires, known in some circles as heater wires. Alrighty, onward. Alright, I went around the tubes, added in the cathode resistor here, and also the negative feedback here, which I may have to play with. I got to do a little research regarding this. Ask my good friend Bill Odell amplifiers, because it's a single-ended, and I'm going to be using an 8-ohm single tube, so that changes. I think I'm pretty sure that's going to change the negative feedback, optimal negative feedback. And here I've got my cathode bias resistor tacked in there pretty good in case I need to change it. It's play around with the bias. It's readily accessible. Okay, next thing, I'm just going to wire in the pair of 100 ohm resistors to ground and the filament wires. And then we can fire this bad little girl up. And by the way, I'm going to name this amplifier St. Louis Sugar. It's a good name for an amp, I think. All right, here's my virtual center tap. Got two closely matched. They're within about 1 ohm of each other. Resistors there, and filament going over nicely to the. Then I'm going to wire over to the 12AX and fire it up. Okay, I'm going to put this up in a stand, but first I just want to plug it in and test the filament voltages. I've already tested the B+, so I'm going to test the filament voltages back here with it plugged in, just to make sure before I fire it up. And then I'm going to put the tubes in that I've hunted down. I always want to remind folks, you know, before you go poking around, once you've turned this on and tested it, check this out. Zap, 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 zap. Make sure you ground everything on the B+ before you go back in there. Safety first, and guys, make sure you're wearing a condom when you do this. All right, safety first. Okay, folks, if you're watching this, it means I successfully turned this on. Nope, I'm going to turn it on with first time here. Okay, Variac's on. It's at 0 volts. I'm going to crank it up to about 30 volts. Not a glimmer from the current limiter, a glimmer from the limiter. All right, I can see a little bit of a tiny glow in the pilot light, and so far not a glimmer. I'm at 90 volts, and you know, I do have my current, my signal generator plugged into the speaker, and I'm getting nothing. Tubes are cold. Getting nothing, folks. I forgot to do something, not sure what it is, but I'll get back to you. Alright, so my output on this tube is a little high. Rather than change the bias resistor, I'm going to, I got 360 plate volts, 42 milliamps. That comes out to about 15 watts, which is too hot. So I'm going to look for some other tubes. I got a lot of 6v6s. I'm going to plug a few in there and see if I can get that down a little bit. Alrighty. Okay, I've been tacking in different resistors. Unfortunately, I just have this 10 watt resistor here that brings the plate voltage up to 373 and the milliamps down to 28. And that calculator, I got to convert MA to watt. Calculator does it quick online. It's 10.46 watts, which is, I'm going to go with that for a while. I got this really cool new old stock metal 6v6 in there I've been wanting to try on something, and this looks like the perfect thing to try it on. So I'm going to call this good for now and button it up. I'm going to look for a 6x9 speaker to fit in that cabinet. For right now, it's going to be a head. I got a couple other cool cabinets I can use it with for now. And pack this up. The old St. Louis Sugar amp by yours truly, L.A. Jones. Thank you. I'm going to button it up, and I'm going to do a little sound demo. It really crooks. So stay tuned. Thanks. Of course, this 59 Fender Strat has nothing to do with the sound of this. It's definitely the orange drops and Weber speaker. Not. Here we go. Try this one on. Sorry about the buzz. See? I was worried about it being hum. That's dead quiet when the guitar is turned down. That is just dead quiet. Anyway, let me give you a little sound demo. Well, that's about all this thing has. It's a one-trick pony. Turn it up to 12 and fasten your seatbelt. Great studio amp. And that's about it for this conversion. Converting one Chinese POS at a time here for humans to play music for other humans to enjoy. We're removing AI from the equation, if you don't mind. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps.